Alright guys, how's it going? I've got 10 million in the bank. I've just bought myself a Cobra. Now, I made so much money because of if you saw my video on Seeking Luxuries that I made last, I basically just grinded that Seeking Luxuries run over and over, maybe 5-6 times or so, and I doubled my money again. So that'll help me to buy the Cobra, and I've now got enough money to really fully upgrade it the way I want. So this episode's going to be basically about that. What I'm going to do is, as you can see, it's got 257 tons of mass. You've only got the 2 starter lasers. It's all E-class gear. I'm basically just going to go out and have a little fly around and show you, what it's like at stock, and then once it's, fully upgraded. Right, the main thing here is your maximum boost speed at the start appears to be about 403 kilometers a second. Sorry, meters per second, which is obviously still very fast compared to the vast majority of ships. However, the Cobra is capable of way faster than that, up to around about 450 once it's fully kitted out. Now, in terms of stuff like your pitch and whatnot, well, I suppose really what it comes down to is that at start your thrusters are very poor as well. That's to be expected, but you slow down and you speed up very slowly, and it's so much more difficult to maintain the blue zone because of that. Now, if you especially combine that with your thrust speed, and it really takes a much longer time for you to get back down to the blue zone. As you can see, my manoeuvrability there, my pitch is horrible, yeah, and I'm still not getting near the blue zone. Now this is just like a thruster issue. You do get there eventually, and you can see the pitch picks up. It's much better once you're actually in that blue zone. So better thrusters are going to help with stuff like that as well. Right, so like I said, you've got a starting mass of 257 tons. That's only with the 2 pulse lasers that you start with. So obviously you'd be a little bit heavier than that. And you've also got an empty compartment here. But we're going to see how we can bring this mass down so that you get to your most manoeuvrable and you get a higher top speed. Right. Obviously the first thing you would want to have a look at thrusters, yeah? You got the money, you go for the A4s. They make a massive difference to your maximum mass, and this is the main reason why you're able to turn so much better and get so much faster. They're not cheap at 1.6 million. Right, frame shift drive as well. You're going to upgrade this simply because you want the extra, the jump distance. You're always just going to do it, really. So 1.6 million on that one as well. Right, the life support, I always just go for the D3, simply because, it's got the least mass out of them all. All this oxygen time and stuff like that, I've never needed it yet. Touch wood. I'm just going to go ahead and go with this lightest one again. Right, power distributor, you don't even need to think about it. You go for the best one you can get, which is the A3 in this case. Sensors are, again, they're quite a difficult one. Again, the D3 is always a very solid choice simply because it's got least mass. If, however, you really want the range on it, the A3s are very good. There's no question about it. One of the big drawbacks is the power draw as well. It's not a huge drawback on the Cobra, I find, though. Really, this comes down to personal preference. Do you think that 3 tons of extra mass is worth it's quite a lot extra optimal range, and it really helps you in resource sites and stuff like that, for finding things. But if you want the lightest possible, the D3 is very good. This is a no-brainer if you can't afford anything else. No question about that. Right. Something very important that a lot of people won't be doing, and this is really kind of power gaming in a way, but your fuel tank. It's got a capacity of 16 tons, right? Which means you're carrying around 16 tons of fuel. You do not need 16 tons of fuel, however, in the Cobra. Right? So you can come down to you've got 2 choices here. You've got a fuel capacity of 4 tons or fuel capacity of 2 tons. You can also take the C3 if you want, but I would personally just go down to the capacity 4 tank. I believe the capacity 2 tank will work in certain cases, but I'm not convinced that losing 2 tons of mass simply for that is worth it. You're going to find that you would have to be refueling an awful lot more than what you would like, in all honesty. And as you can see, you also lose jump range going down to the C1. If you look at the bottom right here, you're losing jump range. Where with the capacity 4, you actually gain a little bit of jump range. Right, so 4 tons of fuel is more than enough fuel for the Cobra to be jumping around 3, 4, 5 stops before it needs to refuel. So for me, this is the best way to save a lot of mass, just in by the fact that you'd be carrying 12 tons less fuel in most cases. Now, a lot of people won't be doing this, but this is a great way to actually drop off some of that extra mass. The power plant, again, it's a case of have enough to cover what you need. As always, the D's are going to be the lightest one. There's a big difference in actual power capacity though and heat efficiency. I would be tempted just to go for the A4. Yep, it's not it's 5 tons again versus the 4 tons, but for an extra ton, just go with the A4. Your combat craft as well, yeah, you're going to need A4 shields. There's no point not having the best shields in a ship like this. Once again, it's 1.6 million. Like most of the top class stuff, it's not cheap. But that's pretty much it, I believe, in terms of the really big stuff. So again, D3 sensors, D3 life support, everything else is A's, apart from the fuel tank, which there is no A. Right, you're going to want a shield cell bank, at least one. These are getting nerfed at some point, but they're still going to be a requirement for a combat ship. This really comes down to, again, how much mass you want to carry. The Bs are great, right? You've seen me using the Bs. I've got about 9 or 10 shots at them, but they are the heaviest out of them all. I think maybe a D3 or something like that would be good. It's probably a D3 is probably going to be good enough to refill the entire shields, because the Cobra shields aren't that great. So I wouldn't bother going with something like the D4, which is just gonna it's just gonna add some mass to your ship. Same the A4, it's 10 tons. That's just way too much for a shield cell as far as I'm concerned. Now here's the D3, very cheap, and it's only 2 tons. Now if you compare that to the A4, which is 10 tons. To me, this is worth it. I would probably go with 2 of these instead of one of the A4s. I think that'd be the smart thing to do, although there'd be a bit more micromanagement with that. Now, probably the final class 4, and again, a class 3 is probably going to be good enough here, is a fuel scoop. I find that if you've got a decent fuel scoop, something like this D3 would be great as well. Although, here's the thing, you don't need to worry about the mass of the fuel scoop. You're more interested in its power draw. They do also get very expensive. As you can see here, the B4 is 715,000 credits. And it really will fill you up fast, but you got to ask yourself, how quickly do you really need to refuel? It's not that bad on fuel. The 4-ton tank's going to be good enough. I would probably be looking for something like maybe a B3 or a C4, something that's way cheaper. It's going to have less wear and tear, and it will be more than good enough as long as as long as you refuel regularly enough. I'm going to try this C4. Right, as far as cargo racks go, you could probably just stick in a couple of capacity 4 cargo racks. They've got no mass on them, so you basically only fill it up as long as, it only weighs whatever is inside it. Right, you're not going to bother with a Discovery scanner likely. Which probably means this last one, whatever, it depends on what you want to do. I'm going to go with a frameshift drive interdictor. Interesting, there is a A2 here, but I'm not going to pay that for it. B2 is pretty expensive as well. It's got a pretty high mass. Here's a D2. It's exactly what we're looking for. Low mass, and it's pretty cheap. Right, now basically that's everything apart from the options. If you want to add another shield cell bank, you can do that. You could add a couple of D2s in here. That's only going to be a ton of mass each. It'll give you far more shield regenerations and stuff like that. Now, weapons. This is what I'm finding most difficult with all the ships, is deciding what weapons I prefer. Right, what I'm going to do is I'll fill in my utility mounts first of all. You're always going to want a chaff launcher. And I guess, once again, it depends on what you're going to be doing. If you're bounty hunting, you're going to go with a kill warrant scanner. If you're just out trying to kill people, you're probably going to want point defense or something like that. I'm going to go with a kill warrant scanner though. Now, you don't have to worry about the mass on these because they're all the same. They're all like 1.3 tons. The only difference is the power draw and the scanner range. Right, so that only really leaves the weapons to fix up. If you remember, you want something gimbaled on the bottom or missile, something like that, because of the sort of arc of these firing points, the small hard points. They're really not very good for fixed lasers, so you definitely want some kind of gimbaled laser on here, or a gimbaled cannon, of course. Right, so here's a gimbaled multi-cannon. I'm just going to stick both of these on my bottom hard points. Now, you've actually got a few options. I tried out the plasma accelerators. They really are for much larger ships. It's a lot of fun, no doubt about that, but I would wait until I had a much bigger ship than the Cobra. These D2 beam lasers, you saw what it was like on the Viper. I was really unimpressed. Because of this thermal load, yeah, you really run through it so fast. You run out of weapons fire so quickly. The fixed beam lasers, again, it's still got a very high thermal load. It's just harder to hit with. I really don't like these. Now, annoyingly, there isn't actually a class 2 beam laser, burst laser, which is what I would really like to use. The reality of it is you're really limited, in actual fact, what kind of lasers you can have. I'm probably going to try out these beam lasers again and just, see if I can make it work a bit better. I'm going to go with the gimbals one though, so that I'm at least hitting with them. Right, so I've now got a mass of 245.6 tons. That's 11-12 tons down on what your starter mass is. But you've got a much higher optimal mass, and of course you're now fully kitted out with everything you need. If you really wanted to save mass, then there is things that you can ditch. But you do want to get some kind of balance build going on there as well. It's not like you want to go without your chaff launcher and stuff like that. That's going to get you killed in PvP. So this is basically the light version of the Cobra. The heavy version is going to be basically just adding bulkheads and making a choice of one of these. One of these at 27 ton of mass. That is a lot. You're adding an awful lot of mass, but we'll see whether or not that's worth it. I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to run with either of these. We'll see what I think about this as I progress through the video. Right, one last thing. I have, of course, gone and bought 4 gimbaled weapons, right? So, the thing about sensors that I talked about earlier. Now, this hasn't actually been tested as far as I'm aware, right? People are assuming, though, right? Because it says that, and targeting capabilities, right? People are assuming that the better sensors help gimbaled weapons because it helps targeting. But this hasn't really been tested. This could just be, flavour text. However, yeah, it's going to be an extra 3 tons of mass, yeah, and it's a lot more power draw as well. However, I can't really risk not going with the A3 sensors now, so that's what I'm going to go with. Now, with all that, we're running at 106% power usage. As you know, though, this is not something that's difficult to fix. All you do is put your frameshift drive interdictor to priority 2, and fuel scoop as well, and the cargo hatch. I think that should be enough. Yep, that's all that's needed. Right, that definitely took a little bit longer than I was intending it to. I really felt that I had to go into it in detail though, because this is really quite important for people who are really trying to get the most out of the ship. Right, so here's a pirate mission in the bulletin board to kill 7 pirates. As it's a brand new ship again, sort of, I'm just going to take this. Hopefully this won't be too challenging, and hopefully it will show you, just how improved that the Cobra is when you spend a lot of money on it. Right, so if you remember, first of all, the ship was 257 tons at stock and had a maximum speed of 403. Now you can see that my maximum speed is now 448. Yeah, I think it was 402 the maximum speed actually in the old one. So that's 46 meters per second faster. You can see the clear difference in the pitching, yeah? It's not quite an eagle, but look at how fast my speed comes down now as well. If you look at the yellow bar, yeah, it's so much faster getting back to the blue zone. It basically all adds up to you being way more manoeuvrable. That is basically a combination of the thrusters. The A4 thrusters is the main thing, yeah, that makes a massive difference. Hey, Doogie wants my cargo, it seems. Let's see if he attacks me. Good. Now that's because I've got one. Polymer in my cargo hold, yeah? Otherwise he would have insulted me for being useless.
Under attack.
Whoops. That's what happens when you change keybinds. And you start looking at the keyboard instead of actually concentrating on what's ahead. Right, so gimbal lasers are doing a good job.
Target shields offline. Flight assist off. Flight assist off.
Is it gone up?
Target destroyed.
That's interesting.
Flight assist off. Flight assist on.
Right, yeah, once again I've got attacked because I'm carrying that 1 ton of polymers. It's well worth doing. Yeah. For some reason this is a novice running around without shields though. With 15,000 credit bounty. Also want her to shoot at me first, yeah? 14,760. So let's see if I can get her to shoot at me first. Still 14,760, but I can't even tell if she hit me there.
Flight assist off. Flight assist on.
No record.
Flight assist off.
Doesn't really make sense either. Let's try again.
Under attack.
Just no record again on the bounty. I'm gonna have to scan again. I think I may have found a bug here.
Flight assist off. Flight assist off.
Now this should be 14,960. It's not. Right, so you don't need to waste time doing that at least.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Interesting. Very quickly found them. and I'm really close to the star, which I don't like. He's going to attack me because I've got cargo in my hold, yeah? Oh, this one's going to be tough just because of the star. This is worth 46,000.
Under attack.
Look at the difference. Cobra shields are really not very good. Pretty sad.
Flight assist off. Flight assist on.
Maybe the buff these or something, I don't know, but this is not working. I don't think I'm running into like a... I don't think this is a weapons issue or anything like that. I can't even get his shields down. I'm going to open a gap because this is not good. I've already used so many shield cells. Look at the damage those are doing to those shields. Starting to wonder if I will ever be anything except an Eagle pilot, because this is just... I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I can't get through these shields. Right, a bit of concentration, less whining, maybe. I can't see me beating him now, though. I mean, once again, he's managed to turn on me. I've got one shield cell bank left. Just cannot get through his shields. There goes my final shield cell. I've still not got through his shield. Got to say, this is pretty disturbing. Maybe it'll just be a case of they have seriously buffed these anacondas. You can see again I'm having real weapons issues.
Target shields offline.
Right, so we've got a power plant targeted now. For some reason he stopped firing. Right, so I need to get out of here again.
Target shields offline. Target shields online.
Maybe start using chaff, yeah. Seeing as I've got it. That'd help. Let me get away from this.
Shields offline. Taking damage.
Yep, I think I need to reevaluate what I am doing wrong. Right, so a quick change of plan. I'm going to go with gimbaled pulse lasers everywhere. So class 2s in the mediums and class 1s on the bottom, small hardpoint. Now, because I'm using 4 lasers, I'm just going to put them all onto the one fire button, so they'll all be firing at the same time. This is going to free up my right mouse button for more shield cell banks, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, why can't I do that? Right, I'm carrying cargo, so I need to sell something. Right, so this cargo, swap it out for the A2 shield cell bank. Now, I'm not particularly happy about doing this, but I'm kind of sick toiling and having to come back and forward and change things, so this should hopefully fix a lot of my issues. Right, so, like I said, all my lasers going on the same button. This means that I can now put my... I wonder if this D3 is better than the 2A, actually. Let's check this out. Right, so there are more on the D, so I'm going to go with the D first. Right, so button 2. Now, my second fire group is going to be the same with the lasers, except my second shield cell bank, and my third, same again. Now, I also still need to do my kill warrant scanner and my interdictor. Now, if you remember, I'm using a keybind from the shield cells, but that's no good because if I use that keybind now, then it's going to fire at all of these. So I'm going to go into my options. A bit laggy there. Right, now, mouse 4. Right, so here we go. Use shield cell at mouse 4. I don't want that there anymore. I want to cycle the next fire group at mouse 4. Let's get back out there.
Scan detected.
Pretty decent damage, yeah? Now, the power's not great, obviously, as you maybe expect, but I don't think it's awful.
Flight assist off. Flight assist on. Target destroyed. Frameshift charge detected.
You went down pretty fast.
Target destroyed. Flight assist off. Flight assist on.
Yeah, this feels like a vast improvement. Finally.
Target destroyed.
Yeah, that felt much more like the thing.
Scan detected.
Getting really tired of these scans by the police. I can't believe I'm still unfriendly with this mob.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Flight assist off. Flight assist on.
Right, so Cook. I now have 2 assassination missions in Cook. So I'm going to head there. Right, so this is one of these generals. Never fought one of these before. General Miller. No record.
Under attack.
Let him attack me first so I don't get the bounty, yeah? I'm still getting the bounty. I must remember I've changed my keybinds. That's not good.
Taking damage.
I'm very slow there with my shield cell. There's another shield cell going.
Target shields offline.
I got a lot of damage on him.
Flight assist on. Flight assist on.
Interesting.
Shields offline. Taking damage.
And really poorly again. I'm just not impressed with the way I'm flying this. I can really understand why so many people go back to the Eagle, even once I've got like these kitted out. Even with its drawbacks, the Eagle is just so much more fun. I don't know what it is. Cobra's shields are terrible, I think. For the size of the ship, the shields are really poor. But I should not be having these issues. I'm pretty tempted just to give this a go now. Out of these two, the ones that give resistance to thermal damage and kinetic damage, I would always choose the thermal damage one, I believe. Although the kinetic damage one may help even more against like being rammed and stuff like that. The thing about the thermal damage one, right? So basically resistant to lasers. Everybody's really going to be using lasers because that's the only way you can get shields down effectively. So you're always going to be getting hit with a laser on your hull as well, assuming that, you know, the person's using all of his weapons on you. If somebody's just using lots of cannons or multi-cannons, they're not going to get through your shield, yeah? So I really do believe that the thermal damage resistance one is probably the best one. It says 27 tons of mass. I'm not very keen on, though, it's got to be said. I might as well give it a go, yeah? Right, I'm now quite a bit heavier, as you can see. However, I am basically really defensive now, fully set out for, you know, defences. I've got the best shield, I've got 3 shield cells, I've got the best armour. There's really not a great deal more I can do with this shit. Right, so let's see what the top speed's like.
Landing gear retracted.
See, it's come down a little bit, but it wasn't that bad, really. 436 still. Yeah, I mean, so it has dropped, but I mean, considering, you know, the amount of defences, it'll be interesting to see how it handles, though.
Frameshift drive job.
Right, so here we go. I've went and wasted a shield cell bank. Right, I've fought this guy before. I just cannot get below his nose, yeah? There goes a plasma cannon at me. So I'm keeping 4 in systems. Pretty much like what I did with the Eagle. I've got off to a pretty bad start though, that's why my shields are a bit low, but this feels a little bit better now. I'm going to use a sail. Now that sail did not seem to do a great deal for my shield. It's not quite filling it, yeah. Let's try the next ones. And these are the A2s now. There's an A2 used. Now the A2 was much better, yeah. Close the gap before I start firing again. It's weird, but I feel actually more open to damage than the Eagle did. Now, I'm pretty sure if I had missiles, he would have been a goner by now, yeah? So it's definitely worth considering sticking missiles on the bottom. I just don't quite have the fire. I don't have the power to keep these going while also having the shields or the systems with 4 pips. It just can't really be done, so the bottom 2 are kind of wasted. Not good. There's another cell used. It's so much more difficult.
Flight assist off. Flight assist.
I mean, did they buff these guys or what? Because this is way harder than I ever remember it being. Yikes.
Shields offline. Taking damage.
Just a little scrape along his belly there. Interesting to see, it didn't take much damage though.
Target shields online.
Missile hit me. But again, only took 8 damage from it. This is way harder than it used to be. Look at the damage my shields have taken unless I've got 4 pips in there. Basically I have to run with 4 in shields or you've no chance. Oops. Oh, I'm really toiling here. Look at the difference my armour's making. I'm hardly taking any damage at all from his lasers once he's through my shield.
Flight assist off. Flight assist on. Shields online. Target shields offline.
I need to get a joystick, that's what's wrong I think. Look at this guy's firepower. Yep, I need to get a joystick. I think I've really hit the limit of my mouse play. I mean, I can fly well, yeah, when I really have to, like that, but this is so difficult. I don't want to eat a plasma cannon.
Target destroyed.
He was way, way too hard. I mean, how many shield cells did I use there? Dear God, I mean... Yeah. 10 or so. And I think we found there that the D3 is just not very good. Yeah, this D3 was pretty poor compared to the A2. So that's something that I maybe swap around. Yeah, I'm going to give that a go, I think. Should not be needing that many shield cells, but you saw there, I mean... Okay, a couple of mistakes regarding the shield cells, but... I was getting there, I was getting into that position because I was taking so much damage. You've got to have 4 pips in your systems when you're fighting these guys. Again, maybe I'm making it hard for myself with the simple fact that I'm not using missiles, but you've already seen me using missiles a lot, yeah? We know that they're a little bit overpowered, I think. That's why I'm sort of trying to avoid that and do some new things, but... This 4 pulse laser setup seems to work fine against the smaller things.
Frameshift drive.
It's pretty much what you would expect in reality, I think.
4.
This has been a really, really tough video to make. It started out as an exploration video about a week ago, and it simply just did not work out. Things changed as I was going around, and I thought, right, I'm going to do this exploration video later. I'm not going to use a Cobra. I'll wait until I'm in an ASP or something, which may not be that far away. And then, of course, I found the performance enhancer thing, the Seeking Luxuries trade. So I traded that for quite a few hours over a couple of days, just so I could get the money to buy this Cobra and get it fully kitted out. I started off fully believing that the Cobra is better, the lighter you make it and stuff like that. But you saw there against the NPCs who can just turn on a dime, basically turn on a sixpence. You can't really dance around them because they can always just get their nose right down on top of you anyway. I suspect they can probably do that with the Eagle as well. Now that they have definitely been buffed, these NPCs. I checked out the forum. A lot of people are saying, yeah, these have been buffed. If you've been following these Let's Plays of mine, you can clearly see that these elite guys were way, way better than anything I had fought before. They were really tough. I would now say that armour on a Cobra is very, very worthwhile. Yes, it's 27 tons of mass, however, the lasers, the damage I was taking was almost non-existent from that Anaconda once he'd got through my shields, yeah? I would rather just go at him with armour on, I think. During it, I realised that I was having a real issue with my keyboard. It started, I discovered like a ghosting issue. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it, just Google ghosting keyboard. But that was really affecting one of my directional thrusters while I was, my lateral and my horizontal thrusters. When I used both at the same time while trying to put pips into weapons, probably using maybe 4 or 5 keys on the keyboard, or maybe 4 keys or something, I discovered that I could no longer put pips into weapons while I was doing that. So this keyboard's going out. I talked about getting a joystick. I think I'm pretty much committed to that now, especially as I feel like I really have hit the limit of my keyboard and mouse play. So hopefully it won't be long before I do that. It's quite easy to see for me why the Viper is preferred by most people to the Cobra as a combat ship. It is simply all about the shields. The Viper's shields are so vastly superior to the Cobra's. These things are just... This feels not much better than an Eagle's shield, in all honesty. And this is why a lot of... this is why the Viper is preferred as a combat ship. It's great, you've got your pitch rate and all that on the Cobra. It's not really that handy against the NPCs, as you saw. Really, it's mostly about tanking the damage, keeping out the way, the Viper's fast as well. That's the thing. It's like, you know, those shields are making a big difference. Right, anyway, like I said, this has been a long video. It's taken ages to get out. I don't know when my next video will be ready, because obviously at this stage now the credits are getting harder and harder to come by. I've got about 10 million or so, but I mean, how much is a fully kitted out ASP? 30 million or so? I don't know how long. I mean, I'm at 10 million, yeah. 30 million for a fully kitted out combat ASP. That could be a long way away, but we'll see how it goes.